Welcome to Synchronize Swatches, your twice-monthly dose of coolness. I'm your host, Chris Gregory.
And I'm the other guy, Chip Johnson.
Every other week, we watch an episode of the cult classic 90s sitcom Parker Lewis Can't Lose, and then we record ourselves talking about it.
It's time for Operation Record the Podcast. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's do it!
Oh, you froze. You froze.
See if you can find like a little video, like a little ding.
Yeah.
A little video. What the fuck am I saying?
Gentlemen, synchronize swatches. Not a problem.
I've never liked you, Lewis.
Not a problem.
Eat now?
Clean out your locker, you're finished.
You know, normally when I travel, like, I've got just my backpack, and like, if it doesn't fit in my backpack, I'm not traveling with it. But since I'm traveling for work and I need the camera gear, I've got like one big ass Pelican and a smaller Pelican case.
Yeah.
And I'm like trying not to take any more than that, and it's like Tetris trying to fit everything in.
Yeah. Traveling for work. Where are you going, Chip?
I'm going to Malaysia. Well,
Let's
I will,
banter about this.
By the time this episode's out, I will have been and gone and back. Yeah, Malaysia, which I've been there before, but I was only there for 3 days. And I was only in Kuala Lumpur, the capital, but we're going to be traveling all over for the shoot. So it should be interesting.
Yeah.
Not looking forward to the flight, though.
How long did you say it was again?
Well, I've got a layover, but the first leg is 15 hours and 15 minutes. Yeah, that's what I'm not looking forward to, because
Jesus.
And the flight is at midnight. Like, so I leave midnight tomorrow. And I can't sleep on a plane. I'm going to be a mess.
Yeah.
So, well, and then I have a 2-hour layover in Hong Kong, and then 4.5 hours from Hong Kong to Kuala Lumpur. So it's a very long travel day. And if I can't sleep on the plane, I'm going to be a mess. But
wow, that sounds great.
Yeah. Good times.
You know something weird? The picture-in-picture for some reason is reversed on mine. Like, I got a mirror image here. Like,
oh,
I'm
really?
in a mirror. Yeah, it's really strange. It's not usually like that, but when I was fucking around with moving things around. Oh wait, now it's back. Wait, nope. 8. Strange.
Yeah,
okay,
you must have some mirror settings on or something. Mirror your own image or something. Yeah, mine's not mirrored.
Yeah. Ugh, I just won't look at myself. It's disturbing.
You know what I hate? Like, you know, with the proliferation of smartphones and iPhones and everything, and everybody's shooting with their front-facing camera.
Yeah.
I think iPhones finally fixed it, but like it used to be, people would shoot it and then they'd post it to whatever social, and it was reversed.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, what? You can't flip it? Like, and I get so annoyed when I see social media where like it's obviously like, you know, the writing on the shirt's backwards. I'm like,
yeah,
flip the fucking image, guys.
Yeah. You know, you could just not do it at all. That would be cool too.
What, not post on social media?
Don't shoot video and post it on social media.
Yeah, but that's even better.
Yeah. I sound a million years old.
Oh, I hate social media. Yet it has allowed us to do this wonderful show and talk to numerous cast members. So
that's right.
It's a necessary evil for us,
I guess. Yeah.
Who are we to play God with the kid's life?
All right, Synchronize Swatches, Season 1, Episode 18, episode title, The Human Grace, which I guess is just a pun on the human race?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I mean, it's a grace-centric episode, so
right.
I guess it makes sense.
It's
and
cute.
We're seeing the human side of her, yeah. So
yeah.
And the German episode title, I'm not even going to attempt. Do you want to attempt that? Or
yeah, I'll give it a shot. It's not like anybody's going to notice and comment on it.
Yeah.
Operation Culta Dusha. Culta Dusha.
Which translates to Operation Cold Shower, which kind of makes sense in context.
I have a feeling that's one of those words that probably has an umlaut over the U.
Oh, right.
But anyway,
gotcha.
or maybe over the A. Maybe over both. Maybe I completely fucked that up.
So hey, I do know, like, well, maybe it's a Mac thing, I don't know, but like, if I press and hold the letter, it'll give me options to do all the, like, you know, if I press and hold the E, it'll give me all the accent options.
Yeah.
Does that work on your computer? Like, if you press the U,
it does that on my phone. Like, if
Oh,
I hold
okay.
the letter on the
Yeah.
phone, but like, yeah, if I hold
Whoa,
it,
it's a shit ton of use.
it just keeps going and going.
All right, so it doesn't work.
It's a
on
visual
the,
gag
on the
no
PC.
one will see.
Yeah, exactly. All right, original air date, February 17th, 1991. And the director of this episode is Max Tash. He's kind of a veteran director now. He's done quite a few episodes. Same with the writer, Tom Straw. This is his 4th episode. So they're kind of, rotating through their little stable of writers and directors.
Yeah.
My episode synopsis. A forged love letter sparks an unlikely romance between Miss Musso and Dr. Pankow, and everything's coming up roses for Parker and the Buds. At first, when Parker finds out Pankow has an ulterior motive. Man, I'm stumbling with this thing.
It's Musso.
Musso. When Parker finds out Pankow has an ulterior motive for his wooing of Grace, he must find a way to break the news to her without breaking her heart. Man, I am very short synopsis, and I stumbled all through that.
Leave it all in.
Yeah, Jesus. Of course, this is a Pankow episode, which I love.
Means we're welcome back our buddy Garrett Graham.
Garrett Graham, the great Garrett Graham. And he's got some great stuff in this episode too.
Totally.
So our opening gag for this one, the camera is actually in the bottom of a trash can. Marty Lewis lifts the lid off and tosses some trash in. As he closes the lid, we are plunged into darkness and we get our first credit. The lid lifts off again and we see Parker scolding his dad. He's like, "Where have you been, Dad? Haven't you ever heard of recycling?" He pulls the stuff out and closes the lid. The lid opens again and it's Shelly and she's dumping some trash in from like a kitchen trash can. The lid closes and then opens one final time, and we see Kubiak, who licks his lips and starts to retrieve a lamb shank, a ham bone, and I think it's a turkey leg?
Yeah, something like it's always a turkey leg with Coob.
Yeah, exactly. And then some other discarded food. Parker steps into frame, and Coob says, "Where have you been, Park? Haven't you heard of recycling?"
That's funny. Like, that really like clicked with me when Marty was tossing the trash in there.
Yeah.
I was like, well, this must predate recycling. And then that was the joke. Like,
that's
man,
the joke.
I've been indoctrinated.
I was going to say, this was right about the time I remember, like, early 90s is when I remember recycling, at least in Hampton, like, really amping up. And I think we got our separate trash, which we got a separate bin, but it was like a little teeny bin. Like, they weren't expecting to recycle a whole lot back then, I guess.
Yeah.
Because now they've got a whole trash can size. Yeah, I remember that was about the time we started recycling.
Yeah. I love those. I love any time, like, you don't see them as often anymore, but I love any time they have those old-fashioned Oscar the Grouch trash cans.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
The steel ones or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Those are always funny. They're always getting destroyed. They're always geting slammed and dented and broken.
Just getting dented the hell. Yeah, the trash guys are always denting the shit out of them. Though I have to say, like, the trash trucks we have now that are all automated, even though our trash cans are, like, freaking Tupperware, like the plastic.
Yeah.
Those metal claws on the automated trucks just crushed your shit out of those cans too, man. Like, there's like the cans get so fucked up, and I'm like, can't they calibrate those claws so they don't just fucking destroy the cans all the time?
Yeah. Imagine if they still had those old ones and just be like a bunch of fucking massive smashed cans everywhere.
Like smashing a soda can.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, so we cut to the school where we see Frank Limmer about to give the morning announcements, but a deluge of water starts spraying straight from the microphone and just
has no
soaks
chance.
him.
Yeah. He doesn't even really get started. It's just immediately blasting him in the face.
Yeah, he gets like 2 words out and he's just like blasted. And we see Parker and the Buds exit the room, which I guess is like the studio there. They're holding a garden hose and they're laughing and they're doing their little back of the hand high five slap thing.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know what the hell to call that.
Yeah, the best buds slap.
Yeah, so I think it's something like Mikey slaps Parker, and then Parker turns and slaps Jerry, and then Jerry turns and does the backhand slap, but Miss Musso is there, and she actually does the slap with him.
Yeah.
And as Jerry, like, does the high five with her, and immediately understands what he just did, and he grabs his own throat or something.
Yeah.
It's really bizarre. I don't know if you noticed that. He's like, bap.
I didn't see that. Yeah.
He gasps and grabs his throat. I don't know why.
Yeah. I was too busy laughing at Musso, just accepting the high five and giving it back.
It's great.
It's great. Yeah.
So obviously they're instantly caught, and it turns out that I guess Shelley ratted him out because Shelley's standing there with Miss Musso.
Yeah.
So the Buds are in trouble, and instead of Miss Musso giving the thumb this time, she allows Shelley to do it, who does it with great pleasure.
Yeah. Shirley owns that shit.
So then we cut to Miss Musso's office, and the best buds are sitting there while Miss Musso informs them that she's calling a parent conference. There's ominous music swelling and stormy weather blowing in. There's lightning. Yeah. It's a great little effect. And I love in the background, Frank is just dripping wet still. Yeah. And he's got a nice little devil lock, Misfits devil lock going. And he's got that kind of head tilted down but staring through the tops of your eyebrows kind of look, he's just got that. He looks fucking great.
That's a great pull, actually. I didn't really notice that till I saw your notes. I was thinking that he looked genuinely upset there, just standing there, just with his head down. But you're right. It's a very Misfits look,
Yeah, and he's glaring straight ahead, but with his head down, and he's got that devil lock going because he's all soaked.
Yeah, that's great.
It's great because on the back wall, I think this is the first episode I've seen this, or maybe the first episode it's occurred, or maybe it's the first time I've actually seen it. But Miss Musso has a framed picture of herself on the wall in the background.
I remember she had the one episode 3 or whatever where she was adjusting her earring.
Yes,
and it was there as a mirror joke. But this is a different picture. This is an actual a portrait or whatever.
Yeah,
of herself.
Of herself in her office.
Yeah.
So then we cut to the school hallway. The buds are walking, and Jerry informs us that Miss Musso is extra edgy today because she has a school committee meeting with Dr. Pankow. And as he says Dr. Pankow, Pankow just echoes out.
Pankow.
And the lights dim. Yeah, the lights dim, and we find ourselves in a black void where Pankow's disembodied head says,
"Discipline is the altar upon which educational sacrifice is rendered."
And his eyes roll back in his head like he is wont to do.
Yeah, and so disturbing every time he does that.
Oh, God. Great delivery on the line. And his eyes roll back in his head, and the lights come up, and we see that we are in the aforementioned school committee meeting. And we learn that Miss Musso is trying to get the go-ahead for her literacy program. She says her program is far more worthy than Pankow's proposed Student Time Clocks initiative.
I like that she's actually pushing a program too. That kind of stuck out to me too, that she's not just there to get handcuffs on the students, but she's pushing a literacy program, an actual educator.
Exactly. It's not just about discipline. And I guess, we see that side of her when she's up against Pankow. Yeah. Because, he's so much like her as far as the discipline goes, but he's so much,
That's all there is for him.
Exactly. So much beyond it that maybe she dials it back when she's around him,
Yeah.
And she's like, maybe we should do something for the students.
Yeah. It puts me in mind of what Melanie Chardoff was saying about how, she's still an educator. She's still somebody who has to be approved by a school board.
Yes.
She can't be murdering students.
So anyway, so she's pushing for her literacy program and kind of, saying that Pankow's proposed time clock initiative is stupid. And I love the retort by Pankow here.
I see Miss Musso is still in the dark ages. Education without enforcement is a tigress without teeth. Pathetic. Gummy. Destined to be the bootlick of an unrestrained rabble of a student body.
It's just gummy.
Gummy. I know the way he says gummy.
So gross.
Gummy. Yeah. No, a tigress.
A tigress. Yeah. So do you think he's laying the groundwork here?
Yes.
Is that that's the first step? And that's what I thought too.
Laying the groundwork for seducing Miss Musso, which we will see shortly. Yeah. We cut to Parker Central where the best buds are watching this meeting on their CCTVs, of course, as they were wont to do. They watch everything that goes down in the school. We cut back to the committee meeting, and we find out that Dr. Pankow is the chairman of the budget committee. So it's his decision whether Miss Musso's program gets the green light. At this point, he announces his nomination to the Federal Education Forum, or FEF, as he likes to call it.
Yeah, I like how he says that. He's like, FEF.
FEF, yeah.
Yeah. It's very, very governmental to just immediately cut it down to the acronym. FEF. FEF.
But Miss Musso points out he needs unanimous consent of this committee to be elected to FEF and to go to D.C. So Pankow pulls Musso close, really close.
Really hard, too.
Yeah, like
he just yanks
her towards him. And they're like, I mean, their noses are like inches apart. And he pretty much tries to seduce her and get her vote. At first, it seems that she is falling under his spell until she breaks from it and yells, "Forget it!"
Yeah.
It's a great turn, too, because it does definitely seem like she's totally swooning, and then all of a sudden just snaps into Miss Musso.
Yeah, for a second there, she's kind of like under the spell, but it breaks pretty quickly.
It breaks pretty quick, and she says, "Forget it." So obviously she's not going to vote for him to be sent to FEF. We cut back to Parker Central, and seeing this little scene play out gives Parker an idea. So he has Jerry pen a letter to Pankow, ostensibly from Miss Musso, declaring something was stirred deep inside her during the meeting. And as Parker dictates this letter to Jerry, we cut to the school hallway. And we get Miss Musso walking down the hallway, and it like all of a sudden goes to black and white. And we get this Casablanca vignette with Musso and Pankow. And we got Weird Al in the background on a piano. Weird fucking Al. Weird Al Yankovic, man.
It's my favorite guest star so far. He's only in there for a second. It's like, oh my God, it's Weird Al.
I loved Weird Al as a kid, man. Like all through like middle school, high school, like just.
My children just brought him up yesterday. Like, I don't know if they've only recently discovered him, but my daughter was explaining what he does to my son, and he was getting all excited about like the song "Fat," which I had to tell him like that's a slightly problematic song nowadays. You know, like this fat shaming song, But yeah, his whole you listen to what he's still going at it too. He still
crazy
makes music. He's been at it for 40, 50. I don't know, probably not 50 years, but close.
A long time. I mean, because he was going strong in the early 80s. So
yeah, I think he was on Dr. Demento in like the late 70s or something. So
yeah, exactly. So at least 40 something years going strong and still doing it. It's great.
I'm sorry. Let me just say too. After that particular shot with Musso and Pankow in the vignette or whatever, the Casablanca vignette, that those two are beautiful people.
Yes.
Garrett Graham and Melanie Chardoff, like just the way he's standing is very debonair, and he's got this extremely strong jaw, it's just he's got a leading man look, and she's got
great hairline and everything. Yeah.
Just it's sometimes you're struck in a show where people are, everybody's sort of acting goofy and it's silly, and sometimes there's a certain staging where you're looking at it, and you're just like, man, these people really are just screen ready. I'll just say they're screen ready.
Screen ready, yeah, exactly. Camera ready all the time.
Right.
Yeah, so, I mean, and I think you're right. It really shines here because of the Casablanca vignette. Yeah. It's in black and white. It's shot very glamorous, like they probably smoked up the set, like it's got a very... and the way Pankow's standing at the door, kind of with his head down, like he's, doing his Humphrey Bogart. It's like, I think it really lends itself to, it's obvious in this scene. Yeah, they're beautiful people.
Yeah.
Must
be nice.
So there's a weird transition here, but like he's standing at the door. He's standing at like the hallway door, like he's just entered the school or something, but he's kind of standing there. Yeah. Waiting, and then all of a sudden we do this kind of weird dissolve to Miss Musso's office, and he's kind of standing there at Miss Musso's office door in the same stand. It's kind of a weird transition.
Looking back into her office, and she's not in there. So he looks like a psycho.
Exactly, it's weird. And then she walks in or whatever. So we're all of a sudden in her office now. But Pankow has shown up to follow up on the letter that he received, and as they get very close. Again, noses maybe an inch apart from each other as he's talking to her. There's literally a spark between them that jumps from nose tip to nose tip.
Yep. A little zap.
Yeah, a little zap. And they just instantly start making out. And as they do, the music swells. The lights overhead start blowing. The earth starts quaking. Miss Musso's self-portrait on the wall just falls off the wall. And, of course, the door glass just shatters. And it reveals people in the outer office just staring in, watching them make out.
Probably horrified.
Yeah. So then we cut to a park where we find Grace and Norman on a first-name basis now.
Yep.
Having a picnic.
And yeah, Miss Musso is wearing like her best Cosby sweater.
Yes, that's true. That's a great note.
Yeah.
And they're feeding each other grapes and oysters and just having this nice little romantic picnic. And then they get up and take a walk. And it turns out they're picnicking on a firing range. I guess like the cops' firing range, because there's a bunch of cops there.
As suggested, I think, earlier by her dad on that one. When she was talking to her dad one time, he was suggesting.
Great point.
Like
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. It's like, hey, maybe he was right.
That is a great catch. I totally forgot about that. So yeah, they take a walk, and they, as they're strolling, they start admitting all the horrible sabotaging they've done to each other over the past couple years.
But to think, here I am hand in hand with a man I once pledged to destroy. A man whose homecoming speech I once sabotaged by reprogramming the quad sprinklers. You're not upset with me.
Oh, heavens. Not any more than you should be with me for sending the Board of Health to inspect your cafeteria on a thrice-weekly basis.
That accidental computer malfunction the day my state reports were due.
Me. The X-rated films which were mistakenly delivered to my school librarian.
Me. The power outage.
Me. The anonymous letter to the mayor.
Wait a minute. That was me.
The best one I thought was when she sent him triple X videos or something, like X-rated films
to
for
the
his health
library
class or something. Yeah, at the library. Yeah. It's like, damn, Miss Musso, you a dirty bird.
Yeah.
That's a low blow, man.
That is a low blow. But as they're going through this list of sabotage incidents, Parker and the Buds are watching from the bushes, with binoculars, as they always do. And they see that their plan is about to derail, especially because I think one of them mentions a sabotage plan that was actually not either one of them. It was a Parker plan.
Yeah.
So everything's the wheels start coming off this little romance.
Yeah.
So they call in Weird Al again, who at this time, he's still at the piano, but now the piano's like on wheels, so it's rolling into frame.
Yeah.
And he serenades the lovers, and they forget about everything and go back to their little romantic outing.
What does he say? He does like weddings and bar mitzvahs as well or something like
that? Yeah. Weird Al has a nice little fourth wall break where he turns to the camera. He's like, I'm available for bar mitzvahs and weddings as well.
Yeah.
So then we cut to the hallway, and we find Parker at his locker. A lovesick Musso tells Parker that she suspects him for writing the letter, and he admits to it. She thanks him for changing her life and gives him like a big hug, which is very un-Musso-like. And then she just runs off down the hall because she spots Pankow.
Yeah.
And she jumps into Panky's arms.
Yeah. Well, she's like, oh, Panky.
Panky. And the two of them, hand in hand, just skip off down the hallway.
Yeah. Silly.
So then we cut to outside the school, where we see Pankow at a payphone, and Parker's in the background, eavesdropping, again, as always.
Of course.
I feel like I say that all the time, because they're always doing this.
They're a bunch of fucking voyeurs. These guys, man.
Yes, I know, but I cannot accept the job in Washington without unanimous approval, and there's still one holdout.
Musso again?
Yes, that pest Musso again. Who else?
What are we gonna do?
Well, not to worry. I'm executing a plan to woo the witch's vote by next week's meeting. You could say I'm working on her day and night.
Oh! It does his patented Pankow laugh.
Yeah, the fucking laugh and just that line. I was just like, oh, come on.
I know. You could say I'm working her day and night.
Jesus. I'm hitting it.
So seeing this, Parker realizes this could be a lot of trouble because he is now responsible for this romance. If it goes south, he is going to take the brunt of Miss Musso's anger. So we cut to Miss Musso's office, And we see Limmer telling Musso that she is off her game and Pankow is not good for her. And I love how she actually because I think he says Miss Musso and she's like, it's Musso. So apparently she's deep in Pankow's spell now because now she's even mispronouncing her own name.
Yeah, and insisting that Frank do so as well.
Oh, man. So we cut to Parker Central, and the Buds are watching this, of course, and they decide it's time for Operation Cold Shower.
Yep, and they synchronize swatches in a way that sounded very familiar to my ear.
Yes, that is the clip that I cut for the theme song that we use.
Yep, anybody who's listening to our theme song is going to be familiar with that particular cut.
Yeah, it's from this episode. And there's a couple other bumpers bites from this episode as well, actually. I pulled heavily from this episode.
Yeah.
It's it was actually earlier. It was when, they get capture Miss Musso grabs them and pulls them into the office right after they drench Frank. She's like, what do you have to say for yourselves? So that's one of the bumpers.
Yeah. A lot of good lines. A lot of good lines in this one.
Yes. This is great. I mean, again, a Pankow episode, you can't go wrong.
Yeah.
So they synchronize swatches and decide it's time for Operation Cold Shower. And we get a little montage. Jerry is feeding a tape loop into Miss Musso's bedroom. So apparently they're in Parker Central, but somehow they have an audio feed running all the way to her bedroom.
I hope that's one directional.
Yeah, I don't know.
Catching the audio.
I'm sure they're
well,
listening to. I'm sure they're listening to.
They're hearing Pankow work her day and night.
Yeah. Oh, God. Oh, God.
Probably all kinds of funny sounds there.
Yeah. I can only imagine
never stop rolling back in his head.
That's because I can only imagine what Pankow sounds like when he's orgasming.
Yeah. Well, I don't think we need to imagine because we hear him. He's probably like, bully.
That's what it sounds like. Bully.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they're feeding this tape loop into...
Move on.
Let's get us out of our head. Jerry's feeding a tape loop, an audio tape loop, into Miss Musso's bedroom as she sleeps, and it's audio of Pankow disparaging Musso. I think it's something like saying she's stuck in the dark ages. Miss Musso's stuck in the dark ages.
Yeah.
And she's tossing and turning as she hears this subliminal message. And then later, I guess the next day, we see Mikey feeding a video feed into her TV at her office, and it's a weather forecast about a hurricane named Norman. And it's great because there's actually Pankow's face on the eye of the hurricane as it's moving.
They don't do anything
map.
subtle here at all. There's no subtlety whatsoever.
No subtlety.
The subtlety of like 17-year-olds.
Exactly. And it's great in that shot too, because like there's a reverse shot where we see the TV, but she's doing some work at her desk, and on her desk is a framed picture of Pankow, and he's like peeking from behind a tree.
Yeah, it's very sweet.
It's a great shot. Yeah. Great shot of Pankow. And it's funny too, because I think Frank comes in, and he struggles to pronounce Musso. He's like, Miss Musso, Musso. Like, he's like, it's very painful for him to like mispronounce her name.
Yeah. I love how frequently these guys go to like subliminal messaging as their way of trying to change. Like, I don't think it really, I don't know. I guess it's worked a couple of times, but it worked on Parker to get his confidence back. But it's just funny that they go back to that. I wonder if that's like a 70s or 80s thing, you know?
I think it was a very 80s and 80s device is like, that's subliminal messaging. That'll work. And hypnotizing people so that they do goofy shit. That was a big thing in the 80s too.
That's right.
So anyways,
hypnotism.
What's that? Yeah,
quicksand
and quicksand. Yeah, whatever happened to quicksand?
Hypnotism.
But yeah, great performance by Taj there with his little struggle to say, you know, it's against his programming to mispronounce Musso.
Exactly. Yep.
So when all these little subliminal things don't work, they decide to go to the beefcake.
We're going to the beefcake.
We're going to the beefcake. And we see a male stripper burst into Miss Musso's office and starts dancing and stripping. And she actually enjoys this for a while.
Yeah, she enjoys it.
Yeah. She kind of like starts sinking down to her chair and she's all getting excited. But then all of a sudden she stops and she recognizes this man from college. They went to college together. So they start shooting the shit and catching up. And then we cut to outside the office, and he's all dressed again, and they're leaving, and I think he's like he's putting himself through medical school with the stripping, apparently.
Yeah, because when he leaves, he's like, let me know if you need any neurosurgery or something like that. It's like, just let me know if you're in the market for neurosurgery. I love that he had that little plastic horse too, because he was dressed like a cowboy.
Yeah,
a stripping cowboy. So when he first came in there, and that dude was cut. I mean, that guy, I get it, but he had like this silly little plastic horse.
And he like threw it down on her desk.
yeah. That whole sequence is hilarious.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
I mean, even like like as soon as he comes in, like the lights dim and there's like like freaking red lights and stuff flashing, and it's a lot of good cool visual effects going on there.
I love how quickly her performance changes too, because like I said, she's like she's really into it. She's really laying it in. She's playing it up. And then as soon as she recognizes him, she just stops. She's like, Randy?
Yeah.
It's just really funny.
It's a great little scene.
Switch.
Yeah. So Parker is watching this. I can't remember if he's watching this for Parker Central or if he's actually outside the office at this point. But he realizes all his attempts have failed now to get Miss Musso off of her Pankow obsession. We cut to the park, and Miss Musso and Pankow are sitting on a bench, and she actually gives Pankow a present.
Oh, how marvelous. A leopard flak jacket. Endangered species, beauty, stopping power. Beauty is stopping power.
Thank you.
And I, too, have a gift for you, Grace. You know that literacy program you wanted so badly?
Yes.
I'm dropping my objections. It's all yours.
Oh, Norman, that is so selfless of you.
Grace, what is a vote when two hearts are intertwined? I know you would do the same for me. Wouldn't you?
You know, tomorrow after that school committee meeting, we really should get away. I have a cabin in Sky Lake.
Pankow right now, since he's giving into her literacy program, he's expecting for her to be like, "Oh, okay, well, I'm going to vote for you," but she doesn't. Yeah. She doesn't quite give in yet.
Yeah, he was
just
definitely
says,
leading her.
Yeah, we should do a getaway.
Yeah, he was leading her that way. And she swerved there. At the last
she
second.
swerved, and he's a little. You can tell he's a little perturbed at the end of that scene there. But then we cut to Pankow's office, and Parker Lewis shows up, and he's going to confront Pankow. And Pankow's he's like in fencing gear, like he's getting ready to go fencing. Fencing and bonsai, there's his two hobbies. And as Parker confronts him, Pankow admits what he's up to. And it's funny because he puts down the mask, the fencing mask, and it's just a great effect on his voice. It's just this great, deep, like not quite Darth Vader voice, but like kind of in that vein.
In that vein, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like deep, evil voice behind the fencing mask.
I am the sword.
And they have a little back and forth, and then Parker grabs a fencing sword off the wall, and he proceeds to like obliterate Pankow's bonsai.
Yeah.
And Pankow turns around to see that, and he's still got the mask on. And he says in that deep voice, "Bonsai."
He's like, "Bonsai." Yeah. I love how they shot Parker just taking that thing to pieces, because it's like you see him like with the sword or whatever, and you hear the sound effects, but you don't see the actual bonsai. It's just like that implied action, and then when he's done, it's completely nude. It's completely stripped.
All the foliage is stripped off of it.
It's really
it's
funny.
a great shot.
One thing I noticed that I've noticed every time Pankow's been on this show, but I love the way he says Lewis. Like he's always like Lewis. He puts like 6 extra syllables on the name Lewis, and he did it really. It was very noticeable when Parker showed up when he was getting ready to start fencing. He's just like, Lewis.
Garrett Graham is great at like just these strange pronunciations, like and he nails it every time too. It's just and it's not like oh, that's a Boston accent, or oh, that's a Southern accent, or it's just his own thing.
Yeah, it's an up his own ass accent.
An up his own ass. That's true. That's exactly what it is.
Hello, Lewis.
That's exactly what the accent. I couldn't place that accent, but you got it.
It's up his own ass. Mid-Atlantic up his own ass.
Yes. Oh God.
I know a commercial break is a long time, but you've got to try and remember.
So then we cut to Miss Musso's office, where Parker tries telling Miss Musso what Pankow is doing, but she doesn't want to hear it. She just will not believe him. And we have a great bite from Musso here.
Why must you try to undermine the first relationship I have had in weeks?
But it was just a great save. Like,
it was a great save. I wanted to point something. I forgot to put a note in here. Again, we can see the fact that the ceiling is not there. You know, in this shot, there's a couple shots where you can see that. And I was thinking, like, I wonder if maybe she just has like an open ceiling office or something. Because I'm willing to like program the head canon here for myself and just say that Miss Musso has a partial drop ceiling and then an open space above her office.
Yes.
And for whatever reason, it leads into something else. Who knows?
Well, that's probably where Frank lives. He lives up in that.
There you go. That's
that cave
exactly.
up there. He just
that's not even
down.
Probably what it is. That is that's what it is. That's his haunt. Okay.
I will say there are, establishing that canon aside, the reason we probably didn't notice it before, not necessarily we were kids and not paying attention, but what we're watching now is completely full frame.
Yeah.
And if this was shown on a 4:3 tube television back in the 80s and 90s, there is actually a border there that we just never see.
Right.
So actually, it's called the overshoot. Like, so when you're shooting it, they can see, the camera operator can see that, but it's in the safe zone. But safe zones don't even mean shit anymore, especially if you're watching an old 4x3. You're going to see everything. So a lot of times if you watch old shows that were shot in 4x3 that came out in the 80s or 90s, you're going to see a lot of shit on the edges. They're like, why the hell can I see that mic? Or why the hell can I see that light stand? It's because we don't have that cutoff anymore, which that wouldn't have been on original TVs. On the
this
TV
shit ain't real.
Yeah.
This isn't really happening.
Yeah. There's a couple instances too, like with the door slams and stuff, that like at the very edge of the frame now, I can see the hand holding the door or move it. Like,
oh, really?
Yeah, I can see that, like a hand come in and touch the edge of the door and like slam it or whatever.
Yeah.
Again, you never see that back in the day, but now we see everything.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So that, I think, is why we're seeing a lot of seeing off the set sometimes, because normally, in the safe zone, you would never have seen that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, safe zones are out the fucking window now. So then we cut to the committee meeting. I guess the committee is now reconvened, and the board announces that Miss Musso's literacy program is a go. They then move to vote on Pankow's appointment to FEF. And everyone raises their hand to say yay, and we hold a dramatic moment on Grace before she finally votes yes. And there's a great like whip sound effect as she whips her hand up.
Yeah.
And of course, Pankow is ecstatic. His plan has worked. And we cut to the parking lot, and Pankow approaches Miss Musso to thank her.
How can I thank you?
We're only 2 hours from Sky Lake.
No. How about a hearty handshake?
Norman?
So long, Grace.
You mean now that you got my vote, we're through?
I am a Dickens, am I not?
Oh, I am so relieved. Oh, for a while there, I was afraid that my plan would backfire and you were really in love with me.
Your plan?
Yes. And I want to thank you for changing your mind and awarding the budget for my literacy program.
You used me.
I'm a Dickens, am I not?
And then they both have a hearty laugh at their mutual manipulation of each other.
Yeah, I love how he transitions there, because he's like, he seems genuinely upset for just a second. He's like, you used me.
Yes.
And then they both just start laughing in a very diabolical way. It's just it's hilarious. It's a great transition.
Yeah.
Game recognized game.
Yes, exactly. But Pankow goes on to admit that he did feel a little something for her.
Yeah. The look on his face when he says that's great too. He's just like, something. He's very dismissive.
Yeah. So Miss Musso admits something as well, but it's not feelings for him. It is that FEF is now a mobile task force. So Pankow will not be going to Washington after all. He'll be touring bumfuck America in really shitty schools.
Yep.
And like all through the Appalachian Mountains.
She said like dirt floor schools.
Schools, yeah. And as she says this, a shitty ass RV rolls up with a theft sign like stuck to it.
Yeah, barely hanging on.
And it's great because it's got that old klaxon horn, that auga.
Yeah, I love that you have that written here. Auga.
And then as the driver opens the door, a bunch of chickens fly out.
Yeah. Yep.
And there's like and we'll notice when the RV actually does pull away, there's a fucking like Beverly Hillbillies style grandmother up on a rocking chair
up there,
up on top of the fucking
like
RV.
Knitting. Yeah, that made me laugh out loud because they're playing the Beverly Hillbillies theme song in the background, like on banjo or something. Like,
oh, I missed
when
that.
the door opens.
Oh,
Yeah,
I totally missed that.
Yeah. And so when they pull away, you got Granny.
Yeah, I totally missed the Beverly Hillbillies.
Yeah, it transitions in between.
Yeah, because then I guess the music comes up as time goes by. The Casablanca theme again is playing. As Pankow reluctantly, God, I am got tons of mush mouth today.
It's all right.
So we hear as time goes by playing as Pankow reluctantly boards the RV and it starts to pull away, and it's great. It's a great shot of him too because he's in that back window,
fucking look on
like
his
a
face.
kid trapped on vacation, like just this.
He's just got he's got the worst like bullfrog look on his face. He's like, it's so fucking funny. And he's right up against the window. Like, why is he doing that?
Yeah, peering out
like,
the window.
How can I make this the most satisfying for Miss Musso? I know, I'll just look miserable at the window as they pull away.
So as the RV pulls off, Miss Musso watches him go, and Parker steps up, and he realizes that she knew all along. And we have a little back and forth with Miss Musso and Parker here, and we realize there's a little bit of mutual respect between the two of them, but he's still getting detention. Yeah. So I guess she's pulling back off of the parent conference, because I guess that's more severe than detention. Yeah. Because they were kind of freaked out about this parent-teacher conference. Yeah. Or parent-principal conference, I guess. But she's giving him detention. 2 weeks detention, I think is what she said.
Yeah, it's something like that. It's a
lot. So she calls Frank in to haul him away. And we kind of crane up and fade into credits.
Doesn't she ask him to round up the usual suspects or something?
Round up the usual suspects. So I imagine, and that's when Frank comes in and grabs Parker, and I imagine he's going to grab Jerry and Mikey right after this. But yeah, the camera cranes up. Miss Musso starts walking away. Yeah. And we get our credit, and then we dissolve back into our end gag, back in the trash can. And the lid opens up, and it's Shelly again, and she's like reaching in, like to her waist. She's like leaning in, like touching the bottom of the trash can, digging around in the trash, and like halfway in this fucking can. Yeah. And Parker steps up and asks what she's doing, and Shelly says that she thinks Dad accidentally threw away her science homework, and she reaches farther down, and Parker points to something at the very bottom. He's like, "Is that it?" And Shelly tries to reach for it, but ends up falling into the fucking trash can, at which point Parker closes the lid, of course. Yeah. And we cut to black. And under black, we hear him say, "Oh, wait a minute, I've got it right here." And Shelly yells, "Parker!"
Poor Shelly.
Yeah.
What have you got to say for yourselves?
But yeah, that's a great episode. Again, Pankow, you can't go wrong with Pankow. The chemistry between Garrett Graham and Melanie Chartoff is just fucking great. And it's just great to have this little romance between these two adversaries,
Yeah, it's fun to see it's a fun, mutual manipulation episode between two antagonists to Parker, so he's not, he kind of sets the ball rolling, I guess, although I imagine they probably would have done it themselves at some point anyway, he does instigate the action, but they just pick up the ball and run with it, because they're both such awful people. So, trying to get what they want, but and it's very satisfying to see. I don't know that I really ever thought Miss Musso was getting played that hard, but it's definitely satisfying at the end to see Dr. Pankow get his and then end up in the back of an RV.
Yes, yes,
with
exactly.
Granny on top. Yeah, it's a funny one.
Yeah, I think as the thing goes, I mean, you're led to believe that she's getting played, but I think even in a first viewing, you're probably like, she might be up to something too.
Yeah. Yeah. She's devious. We know Miss Musso.
We know. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
She can't be that suckered in.
Yeah. There's no way she's going to tell Frank to call her Miss Musso.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, it was a good one. I'd say it's up there with one of the top.
Oh, for sure.
Top episodes. Yeah.
Yeah. The first time I watched it through, whenever that was recently, we got to the end. I was like, that was a good one. That one's like top to bottom. Just
top tier.
Yeah.
Top shelf Parker Lewis.
Yeah, exactly. Top shelf Parker Lewis. On the next Synchronize Swatches. Up next is season 1, episode 20, right?
20?
19. Episode 19. Citizen Cube. I almost said Citizen Cube. That's not right.
Cube. So, I mean, it kind of looks like Cube.
Yeah, it does. So, as usual, we go to IMDb for their summary/synopsis. Kubiak's lack of funds impact his ability to buy what he craves most, food. This forces him to stealthily seek out other people's food. A true menace. It's okay. A true menace. Kubiak can't be stopped, and the students of Santo Domingo suffer. Then, in an unlikely turn of events, Koob wins a sweepstakes, which makes him an instant millionaire. He'll truly never go hungry again, at least until he starts spreading his wealth all around Santo Domingo at a staggering pace. Parker tries to help Kubiak manage his new wealth, but notices that he's hard to control. Wow, that sounds like a great episode.
Good grief.
Yeah, there's a lot to that one too.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's a kind of a big cumbersome synopsis.
Yeah. Spreading his wealth all around Santo Domingo at a staggering pace.
My brother's a dead man.
My friend Jerry said you guys were going to do something really neat today.
Miss Musso, you a dirty bird.